Welcome back to As Told by You. We have got a cool guest today. She reached out to me a couple weeks ago. She's got an app that's a word game, which is really awesome, developed right here in Columbia, right?
Right here.
Yeah. So Adina, thanks for coming on. Introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Hi, thank you. It's good to be here. I am an oncology nurse turned game creator, so that usually gives people a little bit of a whiplash. A dear friend of mine told me a couple years ago when I was starting to think about bringing cattywampus to life, he's like, "You are reinventing yourself again," because I didn't become a nurse till I was early 40s. And I said, well, I just keep walking through the doors God keeps opening. So here we are.
Nice.
I was an oncology nurse for 15 years. Loved it. Love being able to be that strong, confident presence at the bedside during a very scary time. No one likes to hear that word, cancer, right? And for me particularly, I was drawn to bone marrow transplant. So these are patients that are with you in the hospital for 30 days. Minimum, if not longer, depending on treatment. Some places are now trying to do some of the work for transplants outpatient, but they eventually find their way back in for one reason or another. So I am very drawn to direct patient care. I love being there for the families and the patients. But about 7-8 years ago, I started praying that God would move me away from the bedside. As much as I love being an oncology nurse, that push from administration to do more with less is really hard.
Yeah.
And as a nurse who got her start in California, it was a huge eye-opener for me because in California, they have state-mandated ratios. The union is very strong in California. So for a med-surg oncology nurse, I would have max 4 patients. Here in the South, and other places in the country, not just the South, but the South in particular, you can have up to 7 or 8. Right? And so then you just are very thin on what you're able to do for your patients and their families. And oncology is complicated. It's complex, right? And there's a lot of variables. And so that push for do more with less, short-staffed, equipment broken, meds nowhere to be found, it just got to be a lot. And
It's got to be heavy work too. I mean, it's got to be like it pulls at your heart.
Sure.
To see people go through that stuff.
Yeah, it is really hard. And cancer is, I told a patient one day, I said, well, hopefully I will be out of a job soon. And she's like, no, I love you. Don't say that. And I'm like, let me rephrase that. I pray we find a cure soon so I am out of a job.
Yeah, no need.
Right? Because, nursing is taxing. It is physically demanding. And then you add oncology into the mix, and now you've got more of a mental, emotional load that really weighs with you. And it is heavy work. I love it, though.
Were you able to find or draw any inspiration from any of your patients?
For the app?
No, just in general.
Just for where
in
to
general.
go.
Getting through
Sure.
hard times.
Yeah. I mean, the resilience that I have seen, the faith that I have seen, the tenacity and grit.
Is there anyone in particular that comes to your mind?
There are individuals that come to mind, and I still smile when I think about them. They've definitely made an impact on my life and how I choose to live my life, right? No one's promised tomorrow. By God's grace, we're all up today. Not everyone could have said that yesterday, right? And so to have a joyful spirit and a purpose really does help drive me. But yeah, I've been in awe at some of the patients and families that I've taken care of. And sometimes, you talked about the load is heavy, right? There are times where you have to just sit down with the family because they're not ready to let go.
Mm-hmm.
The patient's ready to let go.
Right.
The patient's exhausted. They're suffering. They're in pain. They're in the bed 24 hours a day, right? But the family's not willing to give up. So sometimes you just have to sit down, hold their hands, cry with them, right? I took care of a patient up in Richmond last year, and, the family would come in and they're like, come on, Dad, you can do it. Stay strong, trying to give the pep talk cheerleader scenario. And after a couple days, I just ran into the daughter as she was coming in and I was coming out of the room. So I just, took the time to have a conversation with her. I go, I know this is hard. I know that's your daddy, right? He was daddy's little girl. Oh,
yeah. Let's get that.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You want me to get up?
No, it's fine. She's got it. She'll get it.
It's my alarm.
She'll bring it to you.
Thank you.
Can you turn the volume?
I had it muted, but I think it's the alarm just kept pushing through.
Don't hit snooze.
Phones. Yeah, because it'll go off again.
In about 9 minutes.
Little tip, yeah. So you said you prayed about where to go from there. What was the result of that?
Yeah, I didn't know what that prayer meant. I just knew it was a heartfelt prayer to move away from the bedside, but still wanting to help people. And at the time, I didn't know what that looked like. I thought I was going to refurnish furniture because it was trendy at the time. I don't know to sander. I am not, that is not my gift. So why I thought that, I have no idea. It's pretty comical. Cattywampus is a game I've played in my head for years. And I, in 2022, read an article about Josh Wardle and how he created Wordle. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that doesn't sound so hard. Famous last words. He's a software developer, for those that don't know. That's why it wasn't so hard. And then my husband, unbeknownst to him, he didn't know I played this game in my head. He didn't know I'd read this article about Josh Wardle. Sends me an article about how much money Candy Crush makes on any given day.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking like $600,000+ a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a year or so ago, so I can't even imagine what it is now.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe this thing I do in my head, maybe other people would want to play it. Maybe this could be a way to move away from the bedside. And that started the journey to get it to where it is today. But it wasn't until I started doing some market research and did a deep dive into word games, brain games, puzzles, that I really started to get excited as a nurse, because I like to say, do your part to keep your noggin sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I started to see the research that was coming out and realizing Cattywampus could be a tool to help people maintain mental acuity as they age,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I got excited. I've taken care of cancer patients for 15 years, right? They talk about chemo brain and brain fog. And in the world of oncology, in survivorship, they do talk a lot about, getting back to walking, going to the gym when you've built, when you feel up to it, plugging into a support group, surround yourself with other people who've been through this. But they don't talk much about regaining your mental acuity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, people have been complaining about brain fog and chemo brain for years, so long that they are now actually researching it, good for them. But because Cattywampus is unlike anything on the market today, it really does make your brain think differently. Like, I love watching word game players play Cattywampus for the first time, because they're like, wait, I can do that? I can break a word apart that I've already spelled? Well, yes, you can. And so it's kind of exciting to watch, like, the lights start to click.
Yeah.
So explain the concept of the game.
Sure. So Cattywampus is a tile-based word game That's about all it has in common with things like Scrabble, Wordle, Words with Friends. We play a lot on the number 11 because Cattywampus has 11 letters. So our Z, our J, our Q all have 11 points. Our bonuses are 11 points. So it uses red letter tiles and blue letter tiles. And there's 2 game modes now. We just launched our newest game mode last week, which is called Carefree. Our original game that we launched with in the app stores in June is called Classic, formerly Game of the Day, now rebranded as Caddy Classic. And that is a 3-minute timed game where you use the tiles from your board and the tiles from your rack and create as many new words as possible in 3 minutes. And every day there's a new word trio.
Okay.
Right? In the tutorial, the word trio is Welcome Word Nerds. So every day there's a new word trio. The cool thing about Cattywampus, unlike other word games that are out there, is Cattywampus is designed to be played multiple times a day. Because once you hit 100 points, you earn 100 tokens. If you go back and play that game again and beat your high score, you earn another 100 tokens. Because even though the word trio doesn't change, but every 24 hours, you never know what 11 letters the computer is going to throw in your rack.
Okay.
So the word trio is the same for 24 hours,
And the
but
rack
you
changes.
never know what the rack is going to be.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Carefree is a timer-free version of the game. So instead of 3 minutes, you have 11 opportunities to hit submit.
So is it all under one app that you download, or is there 2 separate apps that show
One
up?
app.
One app.
Yep.
And now, are your friends connected to it, so you're playing against your friends, or is it just I'm just playing it by myself?
So Classic and Carefree are single-player games. We are currently beta testing the 2-player game. That has been the biggest delay in getting the app to market, is I didn't want to, because Classic, the game of the day, has been ready for market for probably a year. But I didn't want to release it without having the 2-player game close behind. So we anticipate the 2-player game will release into the app, hopefully by the end of the year. And then you can play with friends.
When was the app originally launched? So, like, how old is Cattywampus?
It launched in the app stores June 5th.
Oh,
Of
okay.
this year.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Well-
how does an oncology nurse go on to make a game? I assume you don't have coding experience.
I do not.
And I assume this is also not an AI game or something that
No.
you created out of ChatGPT. So how did
No.
how did this work?
While
How do you make
while
it
I
happen?
love AI and ChatGPT, it is not in the game. I still pick the word trios by hand.
Wow.
Yes, I do. It's just near and dear to my heart. I'm sure there's a more expeditious way to do it, but
Wait a minute, you log on every day?
no.
How do you?
I do about 3 months at a time,
Okay.
and then send the word trios over to the development team, and they'll put
Gotcha.
it in the app. Yeah.
So how do you find a development team? How does that work?
Oof. Vetting a developer was our longest process, right? Because we would get quotes anywhere from $20,000 to $200,000. That's a big gap.
Yeah.
And what I learned through the process is I needed to work with someone that understood the vision that I was forecasting, right? And so for me, I needed to work with an organization that understood word game culture in the U.S. So this was not something I wanted to outsource for
Yeah.
cheaper overseas. Plus, I'm a big fan of, if we can keep it in America, let's keep it in America, right?
Yep.
So how would you describe the word game culture in the U.S.?
Exciting.
Okay.
I think word game players, as much as they are considered gamers, they don't identify as gamers, right? They have their own little subculture, if you will. And I do believe there is a massive gap in the mobile space for especially women 35 and up who are either bored or exhausted by the games that are out there. I've had multiple people tell me, this is not this game is not necessarily all that easy. And I go, you are correct. Like, this is a word game for people who are ready to level up to the
Right.
next level,
Right.
right? Because casual games feel like junk food.
Mm-hmm.
Brain games feel like homework.
Mm-hmm.
Cattywampus is that sweet spot in between. It's a casual game that is helping your brain, right, stay mentally acute in a fun way.
Yeah.
What would be a game that you could there's no game that it relates to, or how could, if someone doesn't know what it is and hasn't had a chance to go look it up and download it,
Sure.
how would you describe, like, what's a close game that is similar to it?
Like, I played a game called Word Blocks, which was like you get a random thing of tiles of letters, and you have to see how many words you can spell out of that random collection.
Yeah.
So
I feel like most word games today are a little too structured in what they allow their players to do, and Cattywampus allows players to do a little more.
mm-hmm.
So there are 4 basic rules of Cattywampus. Every word has to be at least 4 letters long. So we don't allow the, cat, dog,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we have a Cattywampus Junior for kids, that's when we would add in maybe a 3-letter
Right.
rule. So 4 plus letters or more. You have to use at least 1 tile from your rack. You have to... Oh, I'm starting to blank on the rules all of a sudden.
I got to play more Cattywampus. Strengthen that
Get
brain.
the brain
up.
back up. That's right.
All right, 1 tile from your rack, at least 1 new word,
Mm-hmm.
4 plus letters long, and you can't use a word more than once.
Okay.
Meaning, if I spell the word nerd,
Mm-hmm.
and then I add an S to it and spell nerds,
Mm-hmm.
and then I move that S to something else, and nerd is back,
Mm-hmm. And you can't do S again.
well, I can't do nerd again.
Oh,
Nerd's
okay.
already been scored, so I've got to figure out something else besides nerd.
So you couldn't do nerdy.
You could,
Oh, okay.
because you're adding something to the word nerd.
Gotcha.
Now, you could rearrange nerd to rend, R-E-N-D,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so then that's a new word.
Right.
But you can't use the same word twice.
How about 4?
What about 4?
Fourfore.
Yeah. 2 different words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
it.
love, like, quit,
Mhm.
quite, quiet,
Mhm.
right? Because then you can just take them and just rearrange.
Yeah.
Vote and veto is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
What's my other fun one? Zebra and braise.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some that you can mix around.
Yeah, I was telling Brian I play word games while the TV's on,
Yes.
and I probably should just be watching TV, but I'm not just watching TV. I'm
Or
watching
just
TV.
playing the word game.
or just playing the word game, but one or the other, but not both. Certainly not both. And
I'm glad I'm not the only one. That is very reassuring to hear that.
Listen, and my New Year's resolution 2 years ago was to become a 1 screen at a time person. You know, so I'm not watching TV and playing a game at the same time, but
Right.
has not happened yet. But I will tell you, I get bored with these games really quickly. Also, I get to where if I run out of lives and I have to wait that 2 hours or whatever
Oh,
it is
yeah.
for the lives to reset, that just frustrates me to no end.
Yeah,
But
there's no lives in Cattywampus.
I've also found that the brain games, just like you're saying, the brain games are homework. It's like, it's just too, when you get those sort of, because you're not to the age yet where you feel like you have to kind of prop up your cognitive stuff. But I feel like that even now, that I have to prop up my cognitive abilities, you know.
Yeah.
Probably would help if I don't watch TV and play games at the same time. That's-
My husband came down a couple weeks ago. His office is upstairs, mine's downstairs. And he came into my office. He's like, "Are you kidding?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "You were," because I have a treadmill desk.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "You were on the treadmill, watching a TV show, playing games on your phone." And I was like, "Uh-huh."
Yeah, it's a lot.
And
It's
you
a
can
lot.
say, "I'm working, honey."
Yeah. And I
Market research.
I keep talking about wanting to treat my ADD, but like that is not a good treatment. Like feeding it is not a good treatment, you know.
Yeah.
So
So back to the the culture, the audience of who is using these games. Do you feel there's a comparison or do people who play number games not play word games? Do people play word games not play number games, or are they kind of mix and match?
I think there's a mix and match. So when I set out to bring Cattywampus to market, I set out to create a word game that I would want to play. I've been playing word games since before smartphones. Mm-hmm. Yes, that actually exists. Mm-hmm. But so I didn't want to create a game that had ads that interrupted gameplay. I did not want to create a game that had banners yelling at me from the sidelines. Mm-hmm. I did not want to create a word game that was not challenging, if you will. So for me, I probably do not associate myself as a gamer per se, because when I think of the word gamer, I think of
Xbox,
online gaming, Xbox, PlayStation. But I do play Sudoku. I will play word games. I will play number games. I will play puzzles. There are some people who only play word games and don't play number games. There are some people out there that only play number games and don't play word games. It just depends. So Cattywampus is a combination of word game / puzzle / brain game. So it really does check a bunch of boxes. And I will take a hard right turn if you don't mind.
Sure.
So when I started doing market research and realized that this could be a tool to help people stay mentally sharp, that hit home for a lot of reasons. My grandmother, before she died, had dementia. My mother, who currently lives with us, has dementia. My mother-in-law, before she passed, had dementia. And I think for people in my age group, 50s, not going to say if that's high or low, but people in my age group are starting to understand. I mean, technically, I'm the sandwich generation, although my kids have launched and have families of their own now, but do you ever stop being a parent? I don't think so.
Not so far.
Right? So now I've got, my adult kids and grandkids that I love and adore and worry about because I'm mom. And then I have my mother who now lives with us. And, my mom's generation, she's 78, they didn't know what we know, right? They knew that you work hard, you retire, you go on to Social Security, you enjoy your later years, and you go, right? No one outlives this planet. And so a lot of people my age know someone older than them dealing with dementia. Mm-hmm. I follow Bruce Willis's story, right? And his was really heart-wrenching for me this past week when his wife decided to move him out of the home into a private home so he could have 24-hour care. Because that's exactly where we are with my mom right now. Mm-hmm. She's requiring 24-hour care. And now we're having to make that gut-wrenching decision to now being with us is not necessarily ideal anymore. Right. Which is hard because as a nurse, I want to be like, I can take care of you. I can't, right? And so as I look at aging and what that looks like, I think for me personally, I have a focus and a desire to age well. And there's a doctor here in Columbia that I see that helped me regulate my hormones during menopause. And he said, one of the most important systems you have to maintain as you age is your musculoskeletal system, right? You have to maintain core strength, right? Because as we age and our eyes start to change, our vision starts to change, our equilibrium starts to change, you are now at higher risk for falls. And, you fall, you break a hip, well,
yeah,
it's not all that the outcomes aren't that great at that point.
Right.
Right. So if I can do my part to age well, and that means strength training a couple times a week, cardio, who hates cardio? Me, but I do it. Eating foods that are nutritious, not just foods that taste good. The sweet spot is finding nutritious
Ideally
foods
both.
that taste good.
Yep. Ideally both.
Exactly.
That exists.
It does exist. Absolutely.
They're hard to find, but it exists.
It does exist. And keeping my mind sharp. So the Pointer study just came out last month. Pointer study was a large study funded by the Alzheimer's Association, covered 2,100 people ages 60 to 75 who were at increased risk for cognitive decline. And what came out of that 2-year study, 2 years? I think it's 2-year study, was stay physically active, stay mentally engaged, eat properly, right? Avoid the processed foods, the heavy, greasy foods, right? Nutrition plays a key. Monitor your blood pressure and your blood sugars, and stay socially engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those factors combined showed improvement in that cohort that followed that regimen. And so that is really what fuels my passion to help spread that word. You know, we laugh about, not all husbands, but some husbands might roll their eyes and go, oh gosh, they're going on a girls' trip, blah, 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 blah. Girls' trips are important.
Mm-hmm.
It's social engagement. It's laughter. It's being together. It's creating memories. You're out actively doing something, right? And so social engagement does play a key part in staving off dementia and Alzheimer's, because if you think about it, as people age historically, they become more withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
They don't leave their house for various reasons, right? So to stay actively and socially engaged is important.
Yeah.
So join a bowling league, go play bunco, go walk with a friend. Even the science about walking, if you walk, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk and talk, it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that and chew gum at the same time.
I mean, that's then you've been playing a lot of word games.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, you've got it together.
And I will say, going back to the word games versus number games thing, I'm much more of a word person than a number person. So I'll play Sudoku, but I get hints a lot. Like, that's the one thing you can't do in a notebook. Like, if you're doing Sudoku in a notebook, you don't have any hints, right? You just have to.
That's right.
You have to raw dog it, But
Right, little numbers in the
I
side.
mean, look, but I feel like the words are that's my vibe. I can get the words, and so when I was playing Wordle every day, my neighbor was also playing it, and he and I would, have a little competition as to who could get it, quicker. And I think he's still playing it, but I haven't played it in a very long time. But I love the idea of word games becoming a thing that, can separate. Like, I can't play Xbox or PlayStation or Fortnite or any of that stuff. I've tried. My kids have tried to get me to play it. I don't get it. I can't use the controllers have too many buttons. And so
too many buttons, and they all do different things, and they do multiple things.
And the kids can do it. They can do like the little trigger under the thing, and then you got directional things on both sides, and you got triggers on the top.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nope. Give me the old Nintendo that has two
You lost
buttons
me
and
at Street Fighter 2. After Street Fighter 2, I'm out.
Well, I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater for a while on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. That was the last time I loved a game. I bought an Xbox. I didn't love any of the games, and I just got rid of it, and I haven't really played anything since then. So word games make me feel like I can do it again. You know, like it's sort of a throwback. I was curious about the development again. Just talking about that, you gave a pretty wild budget swing for the development between 20 and 200,000, and that's interesting all by itself. But if you don't mind sharing, how do you fund the development of a word game? Is this how does that work?
It is not an inexpensive feat.
Yeah.
Well, as you talk about that, touch on the IP, the intellectual property,
sure.
and how that comes into play when you're hiring somebody else to create something.
Yeah. So back to vetting the developer. I chose someone who was based in the U.S., who understood the vision of Cattywampus.
Yeah.
So the app itself, getting it to market, was self-funded by me.
Wow.
And I was a travel nurse. Thank gosh. Right? Because travel nursing
We
can
hear
be
it
lucrative.
does well. You guys
It does
do well.
okay.
Yeah.
It does well. It's very stressful, so I don't want to downplay. I don't want to glamorize being a travel nurse. It is extremely stressful. You're going into hospital situations who are already short-staffed. That's why they need you, right? And so it is a very stressful life because you're moving every 3 to 6 months. Where do you live? Where do you go grocery shopping? Where do you get your hair cut? Where do you go to church? Where do you...
Yeah.
So you're constantly on the move. And travel pay is not what it used to be. I mean, it's still lucrative, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. So that has helped fund the game up until now.
Yeah.
I am working with a company right now to help find an investor or investors.
Just to keep the development going.
To keep it going.
Yeah.
We have, since launch, we have brought some tech in-house. So we have 1.5 full-time coders. And we... I'll talk about the IP in a minute. When I say the gap was $20,000 to $200,000, $20,000, as I learned through the vetting process, depending on who you talk to, they will say, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do it. They will do exactly what you ask them to do, even though they know it won't work. I didn't need that. I did not need that in my life.
Right.
I'm like, I need someone who sees the vision, can help me bring it to life. And so the vetting process is a very long process. It ended up being a friend who referred. So 4 degrees of separation. And we love our development company. They are super excited that we're starting to bring things in-house. And they've been with us, for 2 years now. So that had always been the plan.
Right.
So as far as the IP goes, we work with a company here in Columbia, Maynard Nexon, and I chose them, and I chose our specific attorney because he does do a lot in Asia, and I knew Cattywampus would eventually go global. So Cattywampus launched in June. After we launched in June, I started the behind-the-scenes process to file paperwork to secure the IP internationally through the Madrid Protocol. Right, so the rules are copyrighted, the logo, the
name,
the
concept,
icon, the concept. Those are all copyrighted and trademarked.
Nice.
I chose not to patent the game. Patents, unfortunately, don't hold a lot of weight in this country anymore, and they're very expensive. So I chose not to patent it.
So will you have Chinese tiles and Japanese tiles and stuff
So-
like that? Korean tiles?
We will
Spanish
eventually...
ones for sure.
Well, sure, Spanish. But I'm
Yeah,
thinking
so I
different.
do have a goal,
Greek?
a long-term goal to put Cattywampus into a Spanish edition.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that would be great in the United States, but like I was thinking about different characters from different alphabets, that.
I guess it's based on the language and how those different tiles would all come together.
Sure.
Well, as I look at Asia,
Uh-huh.
that's a long-term goal. 2020 into 2026 maybe.
It's not that long term.
I said maybe. Might be 2027. We'll see. But when I look at Asia, there's a huge push in the Asian markets to learn English.
Oh, yeah.
So when I think about putting Cattywampus into Japan, Korea, the Philippines, etc., I look at putting it in English.
In English, so that it helped them learn English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
That's
goal
cool.
we have is we are in talks right now with Oxford University Press to put the Oxford Dictionary into Cattywampus. So then it's not just a game of creating a bunch of new words. Then when you accidentally create a new word, you're like, I didn't know that was a word. You can actually go
Cattywampus
back.
Urban Dictionary style.
That's right.
Then you can go click on it,
Yeah.
understand the word, and learn a little bit.
Well, what is the revenue model if there are no ads on it? What's the revenue model?
It's a good question. So there are some ads in that, like you could, if you don't want to buy tokens, if you're out of tokens and you don't want to buy them, you can watch an ad for 100 tokens.
Right.
We have a subscription model. It's called the Original Gamester Crew, the OGC. So the OGC gives you 1,100 tokens right off the bat. It gives you double the daily gift, and it gives you the ability to play Carefree for free.
Oh, okay.
Because right now, Carefree, which is our timer-free version of the game, you can either play for free through the OGC, you can pay 100 tokens, or you can watch an ad.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to give our players as many choices as possible.
Yeah.
Because people like to personalize what they do,
Sure.
right? So there are some people who would rather pay 100 tokens.
Yeah.
Other people are like, I don't want to spend my tokens. I'm going to watch an ad, right? And then there's other people who will join the OGC.
I'm always an ad watcher.
Yeah.
I hold my tokens like crazy. I'll always watch an ad if I have it. I don't know why. I don't want to spend the token. I'll have 100,000 tokens. I'll still watch an ad because I just don't want to spend anything.
Well, we're in the middle of a reset right now. Mm-hmm. So we launched in June, advertised for about 10 days. Realized our churn rate was high.
Right.
Stopped ads. Right. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You create a product, you push it out to market, see what the market has to say, reassess, come back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the middle of the reset. That's what we've dubbed it. And so our churn rate was high because people either didn't understand how to play the game or they didn't like the timer. Those are the two main reasons we pinpointed. And so we've offered Carefree now, just a timer-free version of the game, and we're offering an interactive tutorial so people can use muscle memory and start to learn the game and start to understand it a little easier. And then the current phase of the reset that they're working on that is not out yet is power-ups.
Okay.
So right now when you play the game, if you just tap the token, you can extend gameplay 30 seconds. So that's turning into a power-up. We call it a time boost.
Right.
And you can use 2 time boosts per classic game. Then we're adding in buy a blank. And then we're also eventually adding in swap a tile randomly. And then re-rack, which is swap out all the tiles in your rack. Cool. Yeah, so different power-ups are coming down. Just keeping it a little more interesting, a little more spicy. We have a leaderboard for Caddy Classic. So it's been fun watching people start off and then climb through the leaderboard. I get a kick out of that.
Well, what's your, if you don't mind answering, what's your user base right now? How many people are using it, or what's your?
So when we stopped ads, we had 1,500 downloads.
Okay.
We have a couple hundred people playing right now, and I'm hoping to start ads towards the end of this month. After I feel like the game is in a good place and is sticky enough to get people to stick around and stay. And come back.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's infrastructure look like on a game like that? So if you're planning on, let's say, 100,000 or 200,000 users over the course of the next couple of years, what does the infrastructure got to look like to be able to support that? Is that, I would assume that's expensive to maintain that, or is that all built into the platform?
It's more like a utility cost. That's the way the developer explained it to me. He's like, it's free up until X amount of downloads, and then it's like a utility.
Gotcha.
So it's not anything significant. The biggest cost is, well, besides developing the game, but the app stores take X amount of dollars right off the bat.
Right.
So, but Google and Apple have both come into the same scenario. I'm not going to say they agree because Apple and Google don't play nice, right? They're both giants. So if you are under $1 million, they only take 15%.
Wow.
After $1 million, they take 30%. So it's nice that they give a little break to the little guys.
So they take 15% of your ad revenue?
No, they take 15% of anything that's spent in the store.
Whoa. Well, so just spent on the game, not ad revenue. So like if you have a advertiser, they don't take any part of that.
No.
Okay.
Thank gosh.
Yeah. Wow. 15% is a lot. But because I don't guess you could do
30
it.
is a lot.
30 is a lot. 30 is crazy.
It used to be 20. Now it's 30.
30 is a partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like you're partners now with Apple.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is wild.
It is.
How many app developers are in like our area? Do you have? Is there a community of app developers? Or are you kind of on an island?
I'm kind of on an island. There is someone that develops apps here, but I needed someone who had gaming experience, right? Gaming experience, someone who has worked in the indie realm before.
Yeah.
Indie meaning independent. And someone, we did interview people locally. When I say locally, I mean within South Carolina.
Sure.
Some were just not skilled in gaming. Some were really, really expensive. And
We worked with a company in Johns Island one time. This was probably 10 years ago, called Kiz. Have you ever heard of them?
Mm-mm.
They may not still be in business anymore, but they had a game that they had developed for the phone, and I think it was all in-house. It was like the whole point of it was that they were a game developer. I think he had 25 programmers working for him in this little place in Johns Island. So I imagine it was an extraordinarily expensive thing to do.
Sure.
But we made a little video about the game that was being released, and so he was using that for advertising and got a big investment, from what I understand, off of that advertising. But I tried to play the game as one of those where you're like, I guess probably like World of Warcraft type games where you're like you're looking at the battlefield overhead and you're moving things through it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine they would be very good word game developer.
Everyone has their niche, right?
I guess, I don't know. And I may not be very interesting to them. I have no idea. But like, it was, we were just stayed down there for 2 or 3 days, just kind of filming at the headquarters and all that stuff. But,
nice.
But I don't know. And I guess Crumware, Crumware probably does something like that, but I don't know. I don't think they would develop games.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
The gaming world is a very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting realm.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed being in it? Or is it something like, hey, I'm really enjoying this that I've created, but I don't really want to be over there?
One of our coders is very into the gaming world and very connected in the gaming community. And so he is very excited about it. I just am bringing Cattywampus to life, doing my thing, right? And so it's fun to see other people get excited about it and take it even further. That's one of the things I love. Fun fact, outside of New York and California, Georgia has more game developers than any other place in the country.
I could see that with Atlanta being such a big hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
What is the future of Cattywampus for you? What do you want? Because like, you got that Angry Birds level where you get movies, because there is a sequel, right, to Angry Birds, which is nuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't a terrible movie, honestly. Better than I thought it was going to be. I watched it because my kids wanted to watch it. But what's the future look like? Are you thinking about that Angry Birds level, or is it just next step only?
I mean, I have 5-year plans for Cattywampus, of course. I have 6-month plans, a year plan, 3 years, 5 years.
Right.
Long-term goals for Cattywampus is, international launch, a board game.
Yeah, cool.
A junior edition of Cattywampus, a Spanish edition. So yeah, we've got other game modes that are in the pipeline.
Right.
One of the other ideas we have is bringing Catty Classic, to the point where you can play previous days if you missed a day.
Right.
So just trying to keep it interesting and engaging, keeps people coming back.
What is it that you feel like makes a game addictive? So, when you're Because I know that's got to be part of the psychology of it, right? Is to
Sure.
think like, what's going to keep people coming to it? Because if I play it once and leave it alone, it's not helping you at all.
Right. Well, and as a nurse, I don't really want people addicted to it.
Well, sure, of course.
Right? Because,
Well, I say addictive in a way just to say what makes it interesting enough that you want to keep coming back to it.
Yeah. For me, it's that Wordle concept, right? It's the same game, but a little different every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a couple ideas that we're chewing on right now to make it more engaging from a player's perspective, that they're coming back to the app, not just for the game, but for this new feature we're starting to think
Right.
about adding in. You talked about monetizing it earlier. One of my I shouldn't say long-term anymore. One of my goals after we hit 10,000 daily users is to start sponsoring the game of the day, Caddy Classic.
Right.
So what that would look like is, I use REI as an example. It would be a 5 or 10 second ad that would pop up when you tapped on Caddy Classic. And it would be an on-brand type commercial that fit with our demographic for REI, 5 or 10 seconds long, not very long. And at the end of that ad, REI has then chosen the word trio for the day
Oh, and
that
it's related.
match their brand. So
Yeah.
now we're gamifying their brand for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they choose outdoor, hike, camping,
Yeah.
right? And so now, people play it in the morning, and then they play it while they're waiting for their kid to get out of soccer practice. Like, maybe we'll go for a walk after dinner. I should go buy some new shoes.
Yeah.
That kind of thinking. And so that's really where I get excited about.
And then you need a sales staff.
Yeah,
So then you got to have people calling on REI to say,
that's right.
hey, it's time.
It just keeps growing. I have a small agile crew.
Mm-hmm.
I have great people in my court that just see the vision and get excited about it and can do things that are above my ability.
Well,
I learned a long time ago, to get Cattywampus where I want it to be, I had to get out of its way,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I can be the visionary, I can be the forecaster, I can be the decision maker, but it's not just me.
Yeah. How many people do you have on your team right now?
We have 3 part-time, 1 full-time. I shouldn't say that. 2 part-time, 2 full-time. And then myself.
Right.
And then I would love to hire the part-time coder full-time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to have another full-time coder.
Sure.
Because there's work to be done.
Because you're always probably at 11 o'clock at night, you're going, ooh, I should do this. And then you'd love to be able to go to a programmer and say, make
Exactly.
it so.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten a pretty good system now for keeping the project managed, and so there's some people that are working on bugs, there's some people that are working on enhancing the game, there's other people that are working on, the future of Cattywampus.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's exciting.
Awesome. Well, it's cool. Tell me your assistant's name again. They would email
Kiri?
me. Whoever emailed me. I thought
Oh, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Hey.
There you go. It's a great name.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. When Stephanie reached out to me, I was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that." That was my first reaction. I was like, "Oh, it's Adina." I was like, "Oh, I know Adina." As I emailed Stephanie back, it's like, "Oh, I know Adina. It's fine." And but it does feel like something that you know about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a very cool element to it. And anything that's made in Columbia, you have to just go, all right, let me try this.
Right.
It doesn't seem like, it seems like there's a possibility that it's not going to look real. And so I installed it and I was like, all right, this looks really good.
Yeah.
It's real lively. It looks like a real game. So.
Yeah, you're seeing the facelift,
Yeah. Okay.
which is part of the reset.
Right.
And so the game does not look anything like it looked like in June.
Right.
But that's exciting.
Well, is June to now, is that a long time in the game world? Like you
No.
No, it didn't seem like it would be.
No. And when I told you we had 1,500 downloads in the first 10 days. And I was okay with that number. I mean, we don't have a huge advertising budget, right?
Sure.
Because it's self-funded at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But when I take a step back and I look at that, So we were advertising on Unity,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want to catch people playing games,
Right.
right? So we're advertising on Unity. We were advertising on Google,
Mm-hmm.
so Android, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apple ads, we had to go through a couple more hoops
Right.
to jump through. And by the time we got that all up and running, the decision to pause ads
Mm-hmm.
was made. But the reason I get excited about that 1,500 number is because that was 1,500 without Apple.
Right.
And 75% of our players are Apple.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had 1,500 downloads that were majority Android,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really excited to see what the reset does when we start advertising again.
Yeah.
Because now we've got Apple on board.
Well, and I'll say a lot of the games that I have, I downloaded because they were advertised in another game.
Yep.
I'm just like the worst. I am the worst.
Ooh, that looks like fun.
Yeah. And there was one that I got that is like a car, you jumping a car as far as you can jump it. I don't have you played this?
I don't play games.
See,
I know.
I gotta stop.
We like you anyway.
It's bad. I gotta stop.
I mean, I have the block game where it's kind of like Tetris. You get them and they disappear and then
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I play that maybe if I'm stuck on an airplane and have nothing to do, but I don't have time for games.
Yeah. I guess I have to deliberately shut down.
Yeah.
So because if I don't deliberately shut down, I'll just keep going,
Yeah.
And so it's
Your brain sounds like it's a lot like mine.
It's
I-
a way.
Always on with 30 tabs open.
Yeah. And
I like a game night.
I've got to deliberately shut down, but it's got to be every day. Like I can't go until midnight. I've got to power down. I'm like C-3PO. I've just got to go, I'm going to shut down for a while. And then I just kind of go into it, and
But
then
you're not turning your brain off if you're playing a game.
I am because
So you're saying you got to power down from
from real life.
so
Yeah.
Oh, from real life. So the game allows you to power down.
Yeah. The game allows me to disconnect. Right.
Okay.
And so, and whatever dumb thing that it is, I found there's the ones that, and I'm sure you've seen it advertised where it's the little guy who's got a gun and then there's 1,000 people coming at him and he's just got to shoot the 1,000 people. And then you get a bigger gun and then you shoot 3 streams at the same time, which that gun doesn't exist. So I don't know why that keeps getting put into games. That was in the games in the 80s where you'd have a gun that shot three
Right.
shots in different directions. That's a terrible idea. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. But I would get frustrated at that game because there was like a moment where they would make you pay for something before you could move on. I'm like, I'm not paying you for anything. I don't know who this is. I'm not sure who you are. I'm a Southern guy, born and raised. So if I don't know your grandmama, I'm not giving you any money. And so I never did get those for very long. But I've bought several games. I've downloaded several games from I guess it's Unity, that shows you the ad inside another game.
Yep.
And I've done that. But the car jumping game was the one I remember where there's only 10 levels. That's all you got. And what you do is every time you jump, you get some more points. And the points allow you to buy a bigger engine or better wheels or whatever it is. And so you can jump farther. And you just destroy the car. I don't know how it works, but like you go down this massive ramp and you jump over like a valley into a building and, you get points for knocking the building down or whatever,
Yeah.
And so, I'm really your target. It's bad that I found this. 'Cause I'm probably going to end up like diving
Share it with
into
the world, please.
Yeah, that's right. But see, my kids have gone to bed, my wife's already asleep. You know what I mean? Like,
So
what else am I going to be
typically-
doing?
I play about 7 games
Mm-hmm.
religiously
Right.
every morning with my coffee.
Okay.
Takes about 20 minutes.
Right.
Just down the road,
Yep.
right? Down the row. And every now and then I'll play midday or in the afternoon or in the evening. And my husband honed in on something. He goes, I think when you are stuck on a problem,
Mm-hmm.
you reach for a game because it's an easy problem to solve.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you might be onto something there.
Well, and I don't remember where I heard this, but it was probably on a YouTube video somewhere. But they were talking about how so much of the problem solving that you do is subconscious. So much of the problem solving, so many things that happen, and like a lot of my ideas come while I'm riding my mountain bike, right? So I'm just I'm physically engaged in something that's
And you're
very
outside.
like I'm constantly having to monitor what's on the trail in front of me, and so my subconscious mind is constantly working. And I think it's what happens with games too, is that if you can focus your energy on something, then your subconscious mind works stuff out, and I feel like that's probably an element to why it helps me,
And I don't know if you've ever encountered this, but there are some word games where I'll be able to solve 5 or 6 of the words, and there's one word left that I can't figure out. And I've since learned to just close it and come back to it.
Right.
And then, I'll forget about it and I'll come back to it, into the day or, the next morning, and I'll be like, it's right there. How did I not see it?
Yeah.
Because my subconscious was still going. I just didn't realize it.
It was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, and the amount of those games so the airplane is one thing, right? So now obviously all airlines except for maybe Frontier or whatever have online, they have entertainment, while you're flying. But
Right.
but that was what got me through a lot of business trips, was just having something on the phone that I could play while I'm waiting.
Well, currently both Caddy Classic and Carefree do not require Wi-Fi.
I was going to ask if you can do them offline.
The 2-player game will require Wi-Fi because you're pinging back and forth.
Yeah.
It pings back and forth very similar to kind of Words with Friends.
Right.
It's not a real-time game.
Right.
You just wait for them and then take your turn.
Yeah, that was one of my frustrations with Words with Friends, is that whoever I picked wasn't on it. I'm like, I already played my word. Like, I'm waiting on you, bro. Like, I can't play the game here.
I think that's why you can now play the computer with Words with Friends.
Right. And it's the times that I have gotten a Scrabble type game, it's either that it's so easy it's like you're playing an 8-year-old, or it's so hard it's like you're playing a Rhodes Scholar, and there's like no middle,
no sweet spot.
There's no like happy medium where like the words are challenging, but they're not like words that you've never heard of before.
Right.
Like they play that word, you go, that doesn't seem like that's a word, but then the computer has to know it's a word, right? So,
or the computer's first word is 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second word the computer plays like 68. You're
yes.
like, wait a minute.
You get so far behind, you're like, I'm never going to catch up.
I guess what you'd have to do is just those IQ test games.
Yeah.
You have to complete the IQ test game.
Right.
That tells you your score, and then they feed you the game level based on your IQ.
Well, those IQ games are tricky.
Yeah, dude. So I've had several. I think
that's
of
the
those.
point.
Yeah. I've had several of those, and I do not like the IQ part of the game. I like the game that happens after, like, you're done for today, good job, and I'm like, cool, and now I can go play the game I wanted to play, right? I got to get through that to get to it. And I will say one of the most fun times I have with my wife is when we will play Scrabble, because she's not a word person.
Gotcha.
And so she's constantly thinking I'm trying to get words over on her.
Oh.
Like, that's not a real word, and I'm trying to play it, And if we do it in a remote enough area, where it's not like there's not Wi-Fi or whatever, then I feel like I can, get away with some stuff, and
right.
that's a lot of fun. I don't know if you could incorporate that into a computer game or not, where you try to fake a word, and just see if the computer gets faked, but
not when they're connected to the Oxford Dictionary.
That's right.
Well, I really want to work with Oxford because they can translate into 60 languages.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So thinking strategically and long term, it's wise to bring them into the game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is interesting that that honestly, I feel like this is it's a part of the computer market that I just have not known anything about. So I think it's been interesting to talk about that, because I don't think I would have gone as far as you did to actually develop it.
It was a very surreal moment on June 5th.
Oh, okay.
When
you did it.
When I got to launch the app.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And it's very anticlimactic.
Sure.
Because there's so much
It's not
work.
like all of a sudden these downloads are coming up.
It's so
it doesn't
much work
give you,
to
like,
get the
confetti and
game to
stuff.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to actually launch the game is literally a push of a button.
Right.
You're like, huh.
And then you sit back and you go, okay, well, I guess it's
Guess we're gonna
it's
keep
live.
going.
So, yeah, listen, it's awesome. But then you got the downloads. So that's good, right?
Yeah.
You get to see that. I guess that comes in over the course of a couple of days, right?
Yeah. And it's fun to be out in the community and someone will come up and talk to me. And
Yeah.
You certainly have an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the coolest thing I think that's happened so far is my sister-in-law sent me a text about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And she lives in Virginia Beach. She was down at the beach watching, I don't know, some dirt bike race or something. I don't know. And she's like, there's this lady beside me talking about this new game she's been playing. She's talking to her husband about it. I go, cool. She's like, she's talking about cattywampus. And I was
Nice.
I go, did you tell her about cattywampus? She's like, no. She's
That's
like,
awesome.
so I asked her, I go, are you talking about cattywampus, the word game? And she's like, yeah. She's like, my sister-in-law created that. She's like, what?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm like, so this random person. So that was a
Yeah.
pretty
It's like
cool
being
moment.
it's like being famous.
It's just
you
pretty
know.
cool to know that
Certainly
the,
when you get to 1 million downloads.
Yeah, yeah.
the reach is growing, I
Yeah.
guess is what I'm saying.
I guess
So.
the Angry Birds movie idea is not out of the question. Let's
Well,
see.
we
if
do
can...
have a mascot now named Wordsworth.
Oh, okay.
So who knows?
That's who did
Wordsworth.
the tutorial, right? Who's doing
Yep,
the tutorial?
that's who's on our
Okay.
tutorial. We just named him. We put it out to our viewers. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Adina, thank you so much. It's been so good to talk, and I have seen you at events for years, and I don't know
Yeah.
that we've ever talked this much. So it's really exciting to get you on. We finish every podcast with 5 questions.
Okay.
So here you go. Here's your 5 questions. First of all, what is your favorite game of all time? Board game or computer game?
My favorite
Or a phone game or
Yeah, any of that.
children's game.
My husband and I play Phase 10 a lot.
Okay, what is that?
It's a card game.
Okay, nice.
We
Not
love
with
playing
the actual
games, but
deck,
there's only
but-
2 of us, so
Yeah,
we're very much into 2-player games these days. Othello's good. Connect 4.
okay, cool.
Nice.
I
What's
like
your
it.
favorite word?
Cattywampus. I mean,
Maybe not a word. Is it a word?
It is actually a word.
Okay,
It means
okay.
disarray, awry, or askew.
Sure.
And I just love that the name of the game is Cattywampus. One, because it does describe the game, because you are making things go askew
Yeah.
before you bring them back to order. But I lived in California for almost 30 years.
Right.
And grew up here from 2nd to 10th grade, went to Dreer and Irmo, and then moved away. So it's fun to come back, build an app, and use a Southern term.
Sure.
So it's just kind of like a nod to my
Cattywampus is very southern.
childhood.
Yeah.
Right? Cattywampus is just a fun word.
That's awesome. What is your favorite season?
Fall.
It's the obvious choice. I feel like it's the right choice. I don't know.
And
That's-
I love a good pumpkin spice latte, but I am not eating pumpkin Oreos. So
I like the pumpkin Oreos, actually.
Really?
I have a teenage daughter, and she has every flavor Oreos as they come out. She just consumes Oreos.
that's funny.
And so, yeah, I don't mind. I like them. They're good. Give me any flavor Oreos, I'm in good shape. So
Typical American marketing, right? Once they realized pumpkin was like a
Yeah,
big thing,
just put it in
now
everything.
there's pumpkin in everything.
right.
Yeah.
Right. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie was The Breakfast Club.
Nice. That's a good one.
That was a good
So,
one.
speaking of my teenage daughter, we watched The Breakfast Club several months ago because I was like, you should see these classic movies. She's like, Dad, I don't get it. I don't understand why we
Oh,
just watched
no.
that.
She didn't relate to any of the
She
5?
didn't relate to any of it.
And
I
then on
said-
the heels of Breakfast Club was St. Elmo's Fire.
Sure, of course.
That was a great one.
Kind of a lot of the same folks in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would be your last meal on death row?
Last meal on death row. Well, hopefully I was on death row for like something not harmful but fun.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know
I'm
what-
not
I
sure
don't know
they
what
do
Depends
that
on how
is,
psychotic
but-
I
you
don't
are.
feel like they do that, but I don't know. I don't know the rules. So,
So
it's,
I'm kind of a weird one, right? I was vegan for several years.
right.
Till I moved back to the South and found it impossible.
Yes, it's difficult here.
I would probably say grilled salmon, steamed broccoli with peanut sauce, garlic mashed potatoes in honor of my mother, and some sort of amazingly delicious dessert.
Nice.
Probably a tiramisu.
Which is a bonus one is, what's your favorite dessert?
Let's see which one. Tiramisu, banana pudding, creme brulee.
Well,
Yeah,
you're on
you
death
just
row.
gotta
You can
pick
have
one.
them all.
That's right.
Just throw them all in there. It wouldn't really matter.
Separate dishes, please.
Yeah, there you go. Was that 5?
That was 5, yeah.
That was 5? Awesome. Adina, thank you so much for being on. I
Thank
appreciate the
you.
conversation. And great. Best of luck with Cattywampus. I'm going to play it tonight.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm excited.